Hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. I'm going to talk a little bit more candidly just because I have been seeing a lot going on within the cryptocurrency space. First of all, I've been here for a while, but I think we've gotten to the cliff, and I think cliff sounds a little bit too dramatic as well. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news, how often you read the news, if you've been seeing the news. If you watch me as the news, hello, thank you very much. The other part is that we are slipping into, it's not a depression zone, but it's the point before the big stuff actually begins to happen. The way that all markets work, and we're going to focus and hone in on the cryptocurrency market, is that very wealthy people within the space like to lie about what's happening within the space. And this goes, I mean, in multiple different directions, but the direction that we normally end up seeing is when we have people like Jamie Dimon and Peter Schiff and other people who are trying to keep people out of the market, to get people out of the market, to have no one new enter the market or even be interested in the idea of Bitcoin or crypto and all these other things. It goes as far as a lot of times, I don't know if you've been seeing it, around the world, a couple of countries are now, because the other ones already have, they're now making like laws and rules and regulations and anti-money laundering policies for crypto. And a lot of the news websites, how do I say this? They're touting it as if it's something we've never ever seen before. I said that before. I have another channel. It's called The Modern Investor, where I go over like multiple news things that are happening daily within the cryptocurrency space. And it's just this weird kind of, you all knew at some point we were going to get cryptocurrency regulation, right? You all knew it was going to be a thing. So when the news ends up coming out that a country, and it's always, I prefer A over B, I would rather hear that a country has applied the same rules as they did to the banking sector, as opposed to having a news story that that country is banning Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and people can't mine it. You know, choose the lesser of the two evils. The issue is that when those articles come out, it comes out as, or it says, this country is banning Bitcoin, or this country is doing X against Bitcoin. Will the US do the same? Who's doing this? Why did this happen? Why are prices falling? And it's just basically used to scare people. It's a very easy scare tactic. The same exact thing happens for the property market. It happens for every other market right now. If there's a company that has any type of a legal thing going on, the articles will begin to pop up. Should you sell this stock? Is it terrible to have? Look who's liquidating. That person sold a lot, and it's this kind of thing. So this is where I think we are in the cryptocurrency market cycle. This has happened before. This is nothing new, but I know that there are a lot of new people, and even more so just as a refresher. If you've been watching this channel specifically over the course of the last 2 to 3 years, you've noticed a gigantic topic that is kind of always present, and it has to do with accumulation. I'm not making the news. I'm simply clicking and finding it because it's there every single day. We are currently being fed the illusion that because prices may fall or prices drop, and if you remember what I said a couple of weeks ago, maybe every other video, is to anticipate after the halving that there's going to be a drop in price. It can be for a number of reasons. There's always something, I don't know why, that always ends up happening, where it's one, it becomes a sell the news kind of event. Same exact thing with other coins and other assets. But as prices do fall, as we were expecting them to fall after the event took place, the news then becomes hyper negative and talks about, oh no, there's not happening. The ETFs aren't as strong as they were 3.5 days ago. And I've noticed quite easily that it pulls people down. I think this is my opinion. I think it's because of a general sentiment in life of we, in any market, but especially the crypto market, you want to make it. And I think if there's a bad day, it becomes reminiscent of the bad times, if you will. This is what I felt. This is when I talk to my friends. We go over the psychology amongst ourselves. When the market's going up, we feel relatively euphoric. When it's going down for a couple of days, it becomes, we're still bullish on the market, but it becomes like a slow wave that's moving sideways. And there's, the mental, you understand kind of what I'm saying. And this is where I think we currently are right now. Historically, it happens every single halving. There's the dip in price. It's kind of like sad motion, and then normally we move back up. The reason why I say all of that and prefacing all of these things is because the accumulation levels have not stopped. And that's one of the main things that I really want people to get into their heads, or simply even if you just take away nothing more from this video, have it be that. The last couple of weeks, with prices going down or going up, Bitcoin goes to 62, 64, goes back up to 70, goes back down to 66, and keeps these like weird fluctuations, have caused a lot of people in the market to either like lightly lose faith or assume that they have another month or two to be able to accumulate and all these other things. Not trying to get you to FOMO into the market, but it's more of a understand that usually from what we've heard in the last 3 years, if not more, people are buying every day. There's not a situation really where people go, oh, the prices have gone down, let me wait for them to go down eternally. There's always, I've told you before, like a lot of times in other videos, when prices go down, this is usually when I personally choose to buy crypto. It's because the prices are lower, so I'm getting it at a discount before than where it was before. The issue is that rich people are always buying, always, all the time. So I think it makes sense that a lot of the narrative for cryptocurrencies right now tends to resolve around the fact that prices have been going down and or not going up as high as people thought that they immediately would, and or that prices went down and the inflows into the ETFs wasn't the same as they assumed that they would be immediately after the halving, and or the fact that we're simply not at a $9 million Bitcoin right now. This is kind of what it feels like, at least in the air. So when this news came out, the one that's sitting in front of me, I wasn't expecting anyone to have caught on to it, for anyone to have paid attention to it. The whales have been buying for a while. We've known this. One of the things that annoys me personally is that Bitcoin is for... Now, hear me out here. Regardless of what I think or what I believe, things are going to still transpire, as I can't change the motion of the world, but it's these kind of situations where when prices go down and we continue to get this kind of like whale accumulation news, but most people don't pay attention to it because they think that it doesn't affect them directly or indirectly, or they simply say, well, I can't do anything about it, as far as like, well, I can't buy, I'm not going to buy, I'm waiting for prices to go back up, which is also a very real thing that a lot of people end up waiting for. When I say that Bitcoin is for everyone, I mean it's for everyone. And when I say it's for everyone, I mean it's for everyone who's not a 100 millionaire and not a billionaire. This is meant to be shared and given and used by 8 billion people around the world. So whenever we do get news about whale accumulation, I make sure to bring it to you to let you really understand that, like, regardless of what sentiment you might be having that day, rich people are accumulating massive amounts of Bitcoin. The data comes from a company called Santiment, S-A-N-T-I-M-E-N-T. They're similar to Glassnode, Arkham Intelligence, and like one other kooky name for all of these companies. And they said as prices were dipping, whales, and a very specific kind of whale as well, was accumulating. They went through the metrics of every wallet who has 1,000 to 10,000 Bitcoin. So not any less, not any more, which is even crazier because we have other numbers for those as well. Wallet addresses between who have more than 1,000 Bitcoin or up to 10,000 Bitcoin now own 25.1% of the entire Bitcoin supply. 1 in every 4 coins belongs to these people. If you've paid attention to any of the other videos, I know it's like the 3rd or 4th time I'm saying that. These are the wallet addresses who are always continuously buying. There are multiple addresses that people follow on Twitter as well. And these addresses are buying anywhere from 100, 400, 700, sometimes 1,000 Bitcoin per day. These are the ones who we're talking about. And now they hold a huge portion of the entirety of Bitcoin, which should, at least in my mind, should have been purchased by the public. What we're also not counting in are the people who have more than 10,000 Bitcoin, who are also continuously buying. And even more so, this metric doesn't even, that metric alone for the 1 in 4 Bitcoin is owned between 1,000 to 10,000 Bitcoin wallets. It doesn't capture anything less than 999.9 Bitcoin, which is also another metric that's also absolutely insane, because they have another metric for if you have more than 10 to 100 Bitcoin. These groups have also been buying an enormous amount of Bitcoin, sometimes like half a Bitcoin per wallet every single day, trying to make sure to accumulate more and more. The weirdest part is, here's the weirdest, if all of it wasn't weird enough for you already. Since the beginning of this year alone, the 1,000 plus wallets have accumulated more than 266,000 Bitcoin. These are wallets. These aren't the ETFs. These are the actual physical wallets that normal people have. And I mean, I say normal in a very light tone. But yeah, it's just this really last thought. I want everyone to make it. And it seems as if, from the news that we've been given from 2016 until now, it appears that Bitcoin is the winner. You understand what I'm saying? You could have confused me before in 2017, 2018, 2019. Bitcoin is the number one coin, will probably remain the number one coin. And all the banks and institutions and countries have more or less solidified that Bitcoin is it. And I just really want to let everyone know that what is available for you, for your family, for the public is being bought up by people who already own the world. And I felt for a while, and I still feel this way, this hasn't gone away. We live in a world where wealth distribution is already completely out of control. And if we continue shifting into a more Bitcoin world, the wealthy will be the people who were already wealthy. And you kind of get what I'm saying. So it's just more, bringing news to you about how the world is rapidly changing in front of us. A lot of times we don't think about where things were 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And you see this rapid shift in economics, in movements and other things like that. And yeah, I don't know how to really end the video. It's just more of a, they're still buying, and they're going to continue to buy. We also had news a couple of days ago, for those of you who missed it. Even just the daily amount of Bitcoin that came out of the Bitcoin machine was purchased up 3x by just 2 companies. And that's not including these other wallets and stuff as well. So it also doesn't figure in you or any friends or any other members that you might know who are also buying as well. So when prices go down, it's used as a distraction to make you think that something's wrong or things aren't as they should be, when in actuality, people are still buying massive amounts of Bitcoin. But the narrative always, at least since the beginning of this year, has just been about BlackRock. This was news nowhere. I found this news. No one else was talking about this. 1 in 4 coins is now owned by these wealthy investors, and they're continuing to buy more. They bought 266,000 Bitcoin since the beginning of this year alone. And as far as I can tell, it's still not the middle of the year, and it's still getting warmer outside. It's not winter yet. Yeah. Weird time to be in the market. I know, believe me, I can feel it in the air. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.